What is the solution to the system of linear equations? Use the elimination method. So I have two equations here, 7x plus y equals 14 and 5x plus y equals 4. What does it mean to find the solution of a system of linear equations? And how do I use the elimination method? My teaching assistant Chloe is here with her latest cheat sheet notes. She wants you to know that when you are solving the system of linear equations using the substitution method, to pick one equation and then solve for one variable. After that, you're going to substitute the result into the other equation, and then you will substitute the value into one original equation to get both your coordinates. If you decide to use the elimination method, you're going to line up the equations vertically in standard form, multiply the equations by whatever is necessary to eliminate one variable, then you're going to add them, and then you will substitute the value into the original equation to get both coordinates. The last method down here is the graphing method. To use this method, you are going to graph both of your systems of equations on the same coordinate plane, and then look at where they intersect. Where they intersect is the solution. Now that we have Chloe's cheat sheet notes on how to do the elimination method, let's follow her steps in this problem. So the first thing it tells us to do is line up the equations vertically in standard form. So standard form is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are all constants. And I can see that these are both in the ax plus by equals c mode. So I'm going to go ahead and just put them on top of each other. So I have 7x plus y equals 14 and 5x plus y equals 4. Now, the second thing here says to multiply the equations by whatever is necessary to eliminate one variable. So when you're using the elimination method, you are eliminating one variable. I have 2x's and 2y's. Now, I like to go ahead and just multiply by one equation if I just have to instead of both, but you can multiply two equations by something to make them so they can cancel out when we add them. So I have 7 and 5. Those I can make one of them a 35x and one negative 35x. So I could do that. But what's even easier is that I have a positive y and a positive y. Let's just make one of these y's negative so that when we add them, they will cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and take this bottom one and multiply it by negative 1. When I do that, the 7x plus y equals 14, that one stays the same. But notice on the bottom one, 5 times negative 1 is a negative 5x. Y times negative 1 is negative y. 4 times negative 1 is a negative 4. The reason I did this is because look what is our next step. We have to add them. When we add a positive y and a negative y together, they will cancel each other out. And that is what you want to do with the elimination method. Get rid of one of your variables. So I have 7x plus a negative 5x is 2x. Positive y and negative y is 0y. 14 plus negative 4 is a 10. Then from here, 0y, 0 times anything is just 0, so we can just go ahead and eliminate that. So I have 2x equals 10. From here, I can go ahead and divide by 2 on each side to get rid of that 2 in front of the x. Those will cancel out on the left, and I get x equals 5. Now, the next step says substitute the value into one original equation. So I'm going to take where my x equals 5 and plug it back into one of my original equations. It does not matter which one you pick. So I could pick either one of those and it will work. So I'll just go ahead and take the top one, 7x plus y equals 14. Everywhere there is an x, I am going to put in a 5. So instead of 7x, it will be 7 times 5. And you can see that's exactly what I did here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start just doing my algebra just like I would at any other problem. 7 times 5 is 35. From here, I would then go ahead and subtract 35 on both sides. So those would cancel on the left. And I would get y equals 14 minus 35 is negative 21. Now I have my x and my y. I can go ahead and write them as a coordinate, 5, negative 21. This right here is my final answer. Now, how do I check to make sure that I did my work correctly? There's a couple different techniques. One is to use this graphing method. You just go ahead and graph both on the same graph and see where they intersect. Where those two intersect is the solution. So you can see if I come over here to 5 and go down negative 21, that is right here where those two actually intersect. So that's another technique to check your work. The other thing you can do is plug in your x and your y into each one of your original equations. If the left side of the equal sign equals the right side, you have done it correctly. So I could do 7 times 5 plus negative 21, and it would equal 14. 5 times 5 plus negative 21 does equal 4. So you can check it by graphing or by plugging them in and seeing if the left side equals the right side.